She waited 2,000 years to hear a human voice again. Lyra walked slowly through the ruins. The wind blew softly across the broken walls, carrying dust that had been untouched for centuries. She paused and looked at the empty streets of the city that had once been full of life. Her people were gone. Everyone she had ever known, everyone she had loved, had vanished thousands of years ago. The silence was thick. For 2,000 years she had not heard a human voice, not even a whisper. The stars above were the only company she had, and even they seemed cold and distant. She had waited for centuries near the Great Gateway, the one her people had built to connect distant worlds. It was made of shining metal, now dull and covered in the dust of time. Its carvings told stories of a proud civilization, stories of explorers, of warriors, of dreamers. Lyra traced her fingers over the marks, remembering the laughter and voices of her people. She could still see them in her mind, walking through these streets, teaching young ones to run and play, singing songs under the twin moons of her world. But those days were gone. Lyra had aged slowly. Her body had changed, but her mind stayed sharp. She remembered the war, the final battle that had destroyed her home, the fire that had taken everything. Her people had sent her away with the gateway to guard it. It was their last hope, their message for the future. "Wait," they had said. "Wait for the ones who are worthy. They will come one day." She did not know if anyone would ever come, but she obeyed. She had kept her promise for 2,000 years, waiting and watching the stars. The ruins were silent. Buildings leaned like tired giants. Doors had fallen from their hinges. Vines had climbed the walls and crept across the ground. Small animals scurried away as she passed. Lyra's eyes were bright and careful. She did not speak to them. She had no one to talk to. Her voice had grown quiet, almost forgotten. She wondered if she had even remembered how to speak a human language. Her own language felt like a memory she could not fully reach. One day, a strange light appeared in the sky. It was small at first, a pinprick among the stars. Lyra had seen many stars, but this one moved differently. It grew bigger, brighter, and closer. Curiosity rose inside her, a feeling she had not felt in many years. She moved to the top of a small hill to see. Through the dusty air, she could see a ship descending slowly toward the surface. It was human, she realized. She had read about humans in old archives in the books her people had left behind. Humans were explorers, dreamers, sometimes dangerous, sometimes kind. She did not know what to expect. The ship landed with a soft shake. Dust rose in small clouds, floating like tiny clouds around its landing pads. Lyra stayed hidden. She did not want to frighten them. She watched as a small group came out. They were humans, and she recognized the forms immediately. 2 women and a man, all wearing simple space suits. The man was tall, with short brown hair. One woman had a kind face and careful eyes, the other had a nervous look, but her steps were steady. They were explorers, just as she had read in the archives. They walked slowly, examining the ruins. The man pointed at broken walls, and the kind-faced woman wrote on a small tablet. The nervous woman touched the carvings of the gateway with wonder. Lyra's heart beat faster. She had waited 2,000 years, and now humans were here. Her throat felt tight. Could she speak to them? Would they understand? She wanted to, but fear held her back. She stayed in the shadows, watching and listening. The humans moved closer to the gateway. Lyra remembered the instructions her people had left for her. The gateway was meant to connect civilizations, but it had to remain guarded until the right ones arrived. She stepped closer but stayed out of sight. Her hands brushed over the smooth metal, remembering the warmth of her people, the voices that had filled this place long ago. She whispered to herself, almost forgetting the sound of words. "Hello," she said softly. The wind carried her voice, but it was too quiet. The humans did not hear. Hours passed. Lyra watched the humans explore. They touched the ruins with respect, not destruction. She felt a strange feeling inside her, one she had not felt in centuries. Hope. Maybe they were the ones her people had waited for. She stayed near, observing their careful movements. The man, Alex, spoke to the others. The kind woman, Emma, smiled and wrote notes. The nervous woman, named Claire, kept looking around, fascinated. Lyra noticed their gestures, their curiosity, and their gentleness. She began to feel that they could be trusted. As night fell, the humans set up a small camp. Lights glowed softly, reflecting off the ruins. Lyra watched from a distance. She wanted to approach, but the fear of rejection held her back. She had been alone for too long. What if they saw her as a threat? What if they left and she was alone again? The thought made her chest ache. Yet the sound of their voices, even distant and quiet, brought tears to her eyes. She had waited so long. She had almost forgotten that sound, that simple human voice. That night Lyra wandered closer. She wanted to hear them speak, to remember how life felt when someone talked to her. She hid behind a broken wall and listened. The humans talked softly. They spoke of their journey, of the planets they had visited, of the strange creatures they had seen. Lyra's heart ached with longing. 2,000 years of silence had left her with a deep emptiness. Now her ears filled with human words, words she had not heard for centuries. She moved even closer, her curiosity stronger than her fear. She could see their faces illuminated by the soft glow of the camp. They looked tired but happy. She wanted to speak, but she stopped herself. Her voice felt fragile. She did not want to scare them away. She watched as Alex pointed at the gateway and spoke. Emma wrote notes, looking amazed. Claire touched the metal carefully. Lyra felt something stir inside her. It was hope, and it was joy. She had waited so long to hear a human voice again. As dawn approached, the humans prepared to explore the gateway. Lyra felt her heart pound. She had waited 2,000 years for this moment, the first human step onto the ancient path of her people. She wanted to speak, to tell them she was there, to guide them. But she hesitated. Could they understand her? Could she trust them? The wind blew gently across the ruins, carrying her thoughts and memories. She made a decision. She would reveal herself, but slowly, carefully. The humans started to move toward the gateway, their steps careful and full of wonder. Lyra stepped out of the shadows slightly, just enough for them to see a flicker of movement. Alex noticed first. He paused, looking around. Emma and Claire followed his gaze. Lyra's heart beat faster. She wanted to speak. She opened her mouth and a single word escaped. "Hello." The sound was soft, trembling, but it carried across the ruins. The humans froze. Alex stepped forward slowly. "Who's there?" he called gently. Lyra stepped closer, still partially hidden. "I am Lyra," she said. Her voice was low but clear. The humans looked at each other in surprise. For 2,000 years she had waited to hear a human voice, and now she had spoken to them. They stepped closer. Emma smiled softly. "We didn't expect anyone," she said. Her voice was calm and kind. Claire looked amazed, her eyes wide. Alex studied Lyra carefully, his hand near his side, but his expression was calm. He sensed that she was not a threat. Lyra felt a weight lift from her shoulders. She had waited centuries, and now she had finally found the humans. The sound of their voices made the silence of 2,000 years begin to disappear. Lyra stepped fully into the light, showing herself. Her hair was long and silver, her eyes bright and full of memory. The humans gasped, but Alex did not move back. He studied her with respect. "You've waited a long time," he said quietly. Lyra nodded. 2,000 years, she whispered. She wanted to tell them everything, but she could not yet. She only wanted to hear their voices, to know they were real, to know that the universe still had hope. The humans stayed still, watching her, unsure but gentle. Lyra realized that this was the beginning, the first step of a long journey. She had waited 2,000 years to hear a human voice again, and now she had. For the first time in centuries, she felt less alone. The stars above seemed brighter, as if they shared in her relief and joy. She smiled softly, and for the first time in a long while, she felt hope. The morning sun rose slowly over the ruins. casting long shadows across the broken streets. Lyra stood near the gateway, watching the humans move carefully among the ancient stones. She felt both excitement and fear. She had waited 2,000 years for a human voice, and now she heard more than one. Their voices were full of life, curiosity, and laughter. She almost could not believe it. Alex, the tall man, led the group. He spoke softly to the others, pointing at the strange carvings on the walls. "Look at this," he said. "These markings, they are very old, maybe thousands of years. We need to be careful." His voice was calm and steady. Lyra watched him closely. He seemed trustworthy. Emma, the kind-faced woman, examined a broken device on the ground. She tapped on it carefully. "This might still work," she said. "Maybe it can help us understand the language of this place." Lyra's heart beat faster. A translator could let her communicate fully. 2,000 years of silence might finally end. Claire, the nervous but curious woman, walked around the ruins, touching the walls lightly. She smiled at Lyra without knowing it. "I can feel the history here," she said. "It's like the stones remember everything." Lyra wanted to nod and speak, but she stayed hidden for now. She wanted to understand them before showing herself completely. After a while, Emma activated the small device she had found. It glowed faintly, and a soft hum filled the air. Lyra had not heard a sound like it for centuries. The device picked up vibrations in the air, turning them into words. She could speak, and the humans could understand. Her hands shook slightly. She had waited so long for this moment. Slowly, she stepped forward. "Hello," Lyra said, her voice soft but clear. The translator repeated the words in human tones. The humans froze, staring at the shadow where her voice came from. Alex moved carefully forward. "Who's there?" he asked gently. Lyra stepped into the open, revealing herself fully for the first time. Her silver hair shone in the sunlight. Her eyes were bright and filled with memory. "My name is Lyra," she said. The translator repeated her words. Emma smiled in wonder. You are alive," she said softly. "We thought this world was empty." Lyra nodded. "I have waited," she whispered. "I have waited for humans to come. For 2,000 years I have waited to hear your voices." Alex looked at her carefully. "We are explorers," he said. "We mean no harm. We came to study this place, to learn its history." Lyra felt a small relief. Humans could be kind. "Your words, your voices, I have not heard them for centuries," she said. "My people are gone. Only I remain to guard this gateway." Emma stepped closer. "This gateway, can it still work?" she asked. Lyra shook her head slowly. "Yes, it can," she said, "but only for those who are worthy. It is a test. My people built it to protect the knowledge of our world. Only those who understand courage and kindness can pass." She paused. Her heart raced. She had waited for someone like them. Maybe these humans could be trusted. Claire's eyes were wide. "So you have been here alone all this time?" she asked softly. Lyra nodded. "I have kept watch. For centuries I have heard only the wind, the stones. Sometimes the small animals, never a voice like yours." She looked at Alex. "Humans are different. You are strong and yet gentle. You carry hope even when the stars are empty." Alex smiled slightly. "We try," he said, "but we also make mistakes. We are not perfect." Lyra tilted her head. "Perfection is not needed," she said. "Courage and the willingness to protect others, that is what matters. I have waited for those who can do this." She stepped closer, her silver hair brushing the broken stones. The humans did not move back. They studied her carefully with curiosity and respect. Emma held out her hand with the translator. "We can help each other," she said. "We can learn from you and you can learn from us." Lyra felt a warmth in her chest. It had been so long since she had spoken to anyone. She nodded. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, we can learn together." The humans moved closer to the gateway. Lyra followed them, guiding silently. She showed them the carvings, pointing with her hand. The translator repeated every word. She spoke slowly, carefully, describing the history of her people. Alex listened intently. Emma wrote notes. Claire touched the stones gently, almost reverently. Hours passed. The humans explored the ruins with care, guided by Lyra. She had never felt joy like this. For 2,000 years she had waited, and now she had company. She laughed softly, a sound that had been silent for centuries. The humans turned to look at her. "Your laugh, it is beautiful," Emma said. Lyra smiled. "It is strange for me," she said. "I had forgotten how it feels to speak, to laugh, to hear voices around me." Suddenly, a loud sound echoed from the gateway. A hidden mechanism had been activated. Lyra froze. The humans stepped back, startled. The gateway glowed faintly, and a soft vibration ran through the ground. Alex moved to examine it. "This is ancient technology," he said. "It seems to respond to you, Lyra. Maybe only you can activate it safely." Lyra nodded. "Yes, only those who are worthy can pass. The gateway tests the heart and mind of those who come." The hum of the gateway filled the ruins. Lyra's hands trembled. She had waited so long to see this moment again. The humans looked at her with awe. "We are ready to learn," Alex said. "Show us." Lyra hesitated. She could not open everything at once. Her people had left many secrets, many dangers. She needed to test them slowly. She stepped closer to the gateway. Her hands hovered over the glowing carvings. "This gateway is a bridge," she explained. "It connects worlds, but only to those who are worthy. Those who wish to harm or take without respect will be stopped. My people built this to protect knowledge, to protect life. I have kept it safe for centuries, waiting for those who understand." She looked at the humans. "Will you respect it?" Alex nodded. "We will respect it," he said. "We came to learn, not to harm, we promise." Emma and Claire nodded as well. Lyra felt a spark of hope. Perhaps the long wait was over. Perhaps the humans could carry her people's legacy forward. She touched the gateway lightly. The carvings glowed brighter. "I will guide you," she said, "but you must follow my instructions. Do not touch anything without permission. Do not rush. The gateway tests patience and wisdom as much as courage." The humans nodded. They moved slowly, following her directions. Lyra felt a strange joy. For the first time in centuries, she was no longer alone. She had companions. She had human voices around her. Hours passed as they explored the inner mechanisms of the gateway. Lyra explained the carvings, the ancient symbols, the history of her people. Emma wrote everything down. Claire touched the surfaces gently, marveling at the technology. Alex asked careful questions. Lyra answered slowly, choosing words that could be translated clearly. The humans learned quickly. They were clever, thoughtful, and patient. As the day drew to a close, Lyra realized she had done something she had not done in centuries. She had shared her knowledge willingly. The humans respected her, listened to her, and did not rush. Her heart was full. For 2,000 years she had waited. Now she had not only heard human voices, she had connected with them, shared memories, and guided them through the first steps of the gateway. That night, the humans camped near the ruins again. The translator device glowed softly, and Lyra sat near the firelight, listening to their voices. They spoke of their homes, their families, their journeys. Lyra smiled quietly. These voices, full of life and warmth, were a balm to her soul. She had waited 2,000 years to hear them again, and now they were here. The silence of centuries began to fade. She knew the journey was just beginning. The gateway held many secrets, many challenges, but with these humans she felt hope. For the first time in centuries, she felt that perhaps her people's knowledge would survive. Perhaps the universe was not as empty as she had feared. And perhaps, for the first time in 2,000 years, she could believe in the future. Lyra listened to Alex, Emma, and Claire talk into the night. Their voices were different, but they carried courage, kindness, and curiosity. She had waited so long, and now she realized something important. She was not alone. The universe had answered her wait, bringing humans to her side. And for the first time in her long life, she smiled without sadness, without fear. The next morning, Lyra awoke early, just as the sun touched the broken walls of the ancient city. She had hardly slept, not from fear but from anticipation. The humans were already awake, moving carefully among the ruins. She watched them quietly. Alex, the tall man, was checking the edges of the camp, making sure everything was safe. Emma was reviewing her notes, her face thoughtful. Claire was touching the carvings again, her eyes wide with wonder. Lyra felt a mixture of excitement and worry. She had guided humans before in her thoughts, but never this closely. She had waited 2,000 years for this moment. Now she had to trust them completely. She stepped forward, careful not to startle them. "Today," she said softly, "we will go deeper into the gateway. There are places even my people rarely entered." The translator repeated her words and the humans listened with full attention. Alex nodded. "We are ready," he said. His voice was calm but firm. "We will follow your instructions. We will respect this place." Lyra studied him carefully. She could sense honesty in him, and that gave her courage. Perhaps humans could live up to the expectations her people had left for them. She led the way to the inner chamber of the gateway. The chamber was large and circular. Walls of smooth metal curved overhead and soft lights glowed along the edges. Strange symbols ran across the surface, moving slowly as if alive. Lyra stepped carefully, explaining what she knew. "These symbols," she said, "are not just decoration. They contain knowledge, memories, and warnings. My people left them to guide the worthy." Emma leaned closer, her hand brushing lightly over a glowing symbol. "It's like the wall is alive," she whispered. Lyra smiled softly. "It is alive," Lyra said, "but it responds only to those with courage, respect, and patience. It can detect intentions. If you wish to harm, it will stop you. If you wish to learn, it will open to you." Alex studied the walls closely. "So it tests the heart," he said. "Not just the mind." Lyra nodded. "Yes, and it is not easy. Many have failed. That is why my people sent me to wait. Only the worthy may pass." They moved deeper into the chamber. Lyra guided them slowly, explaining the symbols and the carvings. She spoke of the history of her people, of their victories and their mistakes, of the great war that had destroyed their home. She did not hold back. The humans listened in silence, absorbing every word. She watched their expressions. They were not afraid. They were not greedy. They were curious and careful. She felt a small spark of hope. Suddenly the chamber shook. The floor trembled beneath them and a soft hum filled the air. Lyra froze. "Stay calm," she said. "The gateway is testing us. Do not panic, trust each other." Alex stepped closer to her. "What do we do?" he asked. Lyra pointed to the glowing symbols. "Follow my lead, touch only what I touch, speak only when I speak. We must show patience and unity." The humans nodded. The hum grew louder and a low vibration ran through the walls. Symbols moved faster, glowing brighter. Lyra placed her hand on a large circular glyph. The symbols shifted, forming a pattern she had not seen in centuries. She spoke slowly, carefully. "We are here to learn. We are here to respect. We wish only to protect knowledge." The translator repeated her words. The symbols pulsed in response and the chamber calmed slightly. Emma whispered to Alex, "It's responding to her voice, to her intentions." Alex nodded. "It senses honesty," he said. Lyra looked at the humans and felt her heart swell. 2,000 years of waiting, and now she was surrounded by beings who carried courage and respect in their hearts. She realized something. Humans were not like other races she had seen in the archives. They were strong, yes, but also compassionate. They moved deeper still. The chamber narrowed and strange light reflected off the walls. Small platforms hovered above the floor, moving slowly. Lyra explained their function. "These platforms test balance and judgment. You must step carefully. The gateway watches how you act. One wrong step can make it close forever." Alex stepped onto the first platform, steady and careful. Emma followed, her hands slightly raised for balance. Claire moved last, her steps cautious but sure. Lyra watched every movement, her eyes bright. As they crossed, the gateway pulsed with light. The symbols on the walls changed rapidly, forming sequences that seemed like puzzles. Lyra spoke to the humans, guiding them. This is not a test of knowledge, but of wisdom. Think before you act, show patience, show teamwork. Alex nodded at her. We understand, he said. Lyra felt pride in him. These humans were learning quickly. They were showing exactly what her people had hoped for. After the platforms, the chamber opened into a large hall. It was filled with strange machines and devices that hummed softly. Lyra paused. She had never entered this room fully. This is dangerous, she said. Many who tried before could not understand it. They left in fear. Emma stepped closer, her eyes wide. We will be careful, she said. Lyra nodded. You must use your minds and hearts. Do not touch anything without asking me first. They explored the hall slowly. Lyra explained how the machines stored knowledge of her people. Some devices recorded history, others contained energy that could power ships or heal wounds. She showed the humans how to access simple data without triggering defenses. Alex and Emma took notes, careful and precise. Claire watched everything with awe, fascinated by the technology and the ancient wisdom contained in the room. Suddenly, a hidden door opened with a hiss. The humans jumped back, startled. Lyra stepped forward. This door leads to the heart of the gateway, she said. It is the most protected area. Only the truly worthy may enter. You must be united to continue. Alex looked at the others. We trust each other, he said. Emma and Claire nodded. Lyra felt her heart lift. Unity, courage, respect. These humans had all the qualities her people valued most. Perhaps they could succeed where others had failed. They entered the inner chamber. The air shimmered, and the symbols on the walls glowed with bright light. The floor was smooth and reflective, like water frozen in time. Lyra felt the energy of the gateway pulse through her. She had waited 2,000 years for this moment. She wanted to see if humans could truly understand her people's legacy. As they moved forward, alarms suddenly sounded. Red lights flashed across the chamber. A low rumble shook the walls. Lyra froze. The defenses are activating, she said urgently. They sense danger. We must act carefully. Do not panic. Alex stepped forward, assessing the situation. We are ready, he said calmly. Tell us what to do. Lyra guided them quickly. Some machines were trying to release energy that could harm them. She explained how to disable the defenses safely. Emma followed her instructions, pressing buttons and flipping switches. Claire helped, holding panels in place. Alex coordinated their actions. Together they worked as a team, moving carefully, listening to Lyra and showing courage in the face of danger. After tense minutes, the alarm stopped. The lights returned to soft glows, the rumbling ceased. Lyra breathed a quiet sigh of relief. She looked at the humans. You have done well, she said. You have passed a test that many could not. Courage, patience, and unity, these are the keys. You have them all. Alex smiled. We are learning from you, he said. Lyra nodded. Her heart felt full. After 2,000 years of waiting, she had found beings who could understand, who could respect, who could carry her people's knowledge forward. The inner chamber glowed faintly, revealing devices and archives that contained the greatest wisdom of her people. Lyra stepped closer, her hands hovering over the controls. This knowledge, she said, is powerful. It must be used wisely. My people left it for those who understand responsibility and respect. You must promise to use it for good. Alex, Emma, and Claire nodded solemnly. We promise, Alex said. Lyra felt a surge of hope. She realized something important. Humans were not perfect, but they carried qualities that her people had valued most. They were brave, thoughtful, and compassionate. They could face danger and still act with care. She had waited centuries for this moment, and now she had found the right ones. Perhaps her people's knowledge would survive after all. As the day ended, Lyra led the humans back to the surface. The sun was setting, painting the ruins in gold and orange. They walked slowly, exhausted but triumphant. Lyra's heart was light. She had guided them through the first real tests, and they had proven themselves worthy. For the first time in centuries, she felt joy. The 2,000 years of waiting had not been in vain. That night, Lyra watched the humans around the campfire. Their voices were soft, full of laughter and curiosity. They spoke of what they had seen, what they had learned, and what they hoped to understand next. Lyra smiled quietly. She had waited so long, and now she had found companions who could share her burden, who could listen to her stories, and who could carry hope forward. She looked at the stars above, bright and infinite. For the first time in 2,000 years, she felt that the future was not empty. Humans had come, and they had proven themselves worthy. The gateway was safe, knowledge was preserved, and hope had returned to her heart. She knew that the journey was only beginning, but she also knew that with these humans, her people's legacy had a chance to live on. And for the first time in centuries, Lyra felt that the universe had listened to her wait, bringing the right voices to her side at last. The next morning, the ruins were quiet except for the soft steps of Lyra and the humans. She led them toward a deeper part of the gateway, a section she had never shown anyone. The light inside the passage shifted as they walked, glowing softly on the walls. The symbols seemed alive, moving slightly as if observing them. Lyra's heart beat faster. She had waited 2,000 years to see humans in this space, but she also knew dangers still slept here. Alex moved carefully at the front. "Are you sure it's safe?" he asked. Lyra looked at him and shook her head slowly. "Safe," she said softly. "No. Not everything here is safe. My people built defenses for those who would take knowledge without care, but if you follow my instructions, you will be fine." She studied the humans' faces. They nodded. Courage and trust shone in their eyes. She felt hope stir. Emma examined a device near the wall. "What is this?" she asked. Lyra's eyes narrowed. "A warning system," she said. "It can detect danger. If it senses threats, it can lock this place or even attack intruders. It has never been triggered until now." She moved closer to the machine, her hand hovering over it. "Do not touch it. Only I can deactivate it safely." The humans watched, careful and attentive. As they moved forward, a low hum suddenly grew louder. The air trembled and the floor vibrated slightly. Lyra froze. "The defenses are activating," she said urgently. "Something has detected us as threats. Stay calm, do not panic, follow my instructions." Alex stepped close. "We are ready," he said, his voice steady. "Tell us what to do," Lyra nodded. "We must act quickly and carefully. Courage and unity will keep us safe." The hum grew louder and red lights flashed across the walls. Hidden panels opened, revealing energy beams and mechanical arms. The humans stepped back instinctively, but Lyra gestured them forward. "Step carefully. Touch only what I touch. Move together. Trust each other." Alex and the others followed her instructions exactly. Each step required balance, speed, and thought. One wrong move could trigger the defenses fully. Lyra guided them through the first section. Her hands hovered over control panels, pressing symbols with precision. She had done this many times in memory, but never with others beside her. She watched the humans. They did not panic. They listened carefully, acted quickly, and helped one another. Courage and unity flowed from them just as her people had valued. She felt a surge of pride and hope. A large gate appeared ahead, glowing faintly. It was the heart of the defense system. Lyra paused. "This is the final test," she said. "If we fail here, the defenses may lock the gateway forever. You must act as one. Courage, patience, and respect are the key." Alex stepped forward. "We are ready," he said. Emma and Claire nodded. Lyra's heart pounded. 2,000 years of waiting had brought her to this moment. She hoped humans would pass. The defenses reacted suddenly. Beams of light shot from the walls, moving fast. Mechanical arms swung, testing their reflexes. Lyra shouted instructions. "Dodge left. Now step onto the panel. Press the sequence together." Alex moved first, steady and precise. Emma followed, her hands trembling slightly but acting with care. Claire moved last, quick and aware. Lyra guided their movements like a conductor of an orchestra. The energy beams and mechanical arms came closer. Lyra's hands moved quickly over the controls, opening pathways and shutting down dangerous machines. One arm swung near Alex, and he barely ducked in time. Emma pressed the final button in the sequence. The lights dimmed slightly, but another section activated immediately. Lyra's heart raced. She had never seen anyone move through the defenses this well. Humans were brave, clever, and precise. Suddenly, a panel exploded with sparks. A section of the floor trembled and cracked. Debris fell toward the humans. Lyra shouted, "Move, now!" Alex grabbed Emma's hand and pulled her out of the way. Claire jumped to the side just in time. Lyra herself stepped back, controlling the nearby panels to stabilize the floor. The humans had reacted instantly, showing courage and quick thinking. Lyra felt a warmth in her chest. They were proving themselves worthy. The next section required them to cross a narrow path suspended over glowing energy. One false step would trigger the defenses. Lyra moved first, her steps careful. She guided the humans. Alex followed, steady and precise. Emma's hands trembled slightly, but she focused and moved carefully. Claire followed last, her face determined. The group worked as one, balancing courage with patience. The symbols on the walls pulsed in response, approving their actions. Finally, they reached the inner chamber. The air shimmered with energy. Strange machines hummed and glowed, and panels displayed knowledge and symbols Lyra had not seen in centuries. She stepped forward, her hands hovering above the controls. The humans watched in awe. "This is the heart of the gateway," Lyra said. "It contains the knowledge of my people. It can be dangerous if used wrongly. Only those with courage, respect, and wisdom may access it." Alex stepped closer. "We understand," he said. "We will act carefully. We will respect your people's legacy." Emma nodded. "We will learn, not destroy." Claire's eyes shone. "We want to understand, to help." Lyra smiled softly. She had waited centuries for beings like them. Perhaps the knowledge of her people would finally be safe. She guided them through the inner chamber, showing them how to access data safely. She explained the machines, the symbols, and the archives. The humans listened carefully, learning quickly. Alex asked questions thoughtfully. Emma took notes. Claire observed everything with wonder. Lyra watched them and felt hope. They were not just explorers, they were worthy guardians. Suddenly, a hidden alarm sounded. A section of the chamber glowed red. Lyra froze. "The defenses are not finished," she said urgently. "They still test us. We must act fast. Do not panic, move carefully." Alex stepped forward. "We are ready," he said. The humans followed Lyra's instructions exactly. Each step required courage, unity, and careful thought. The energy beams and moving panels tested them, but they did not fail. Lyra controlled the remaining defenses, her hands moving quickly over ancient panels. Sparks flew, lights flashed, but the humans acted together, their courage unwavering. One panel collapsed under Emma's feet, but Alex grabbed her hand and pulled her to safety. Claire jumped across a glowing section, landing safely on the other side. Lyra felt her heart swell. Humans were showing exactly the qualities her people had valued. They were worthy. Finally, the alarm stopped. The red lights faded and the chamber glowed softly. The defenses had accepted them. Lyra exhaled quietly, feeling relief and joy. She looked at the humans. "You have passed the final test," she said. "Your courage, patience, and unity have proven that you are worthy. You have shown the qualities my people valued most." Alex smiled. "We could not have done it without you," he said. Emma and Claire nodded. Lyra felt warmth in her chest. She approached the main control panel of the chamber. "Now," she said, "the knowledge of my people can be shared with you. It is a gift, but also a responsibility. You must promise to use it wisely, with respect and care." Alex stepped forward. "We promise," he said firmly. Emma and Claire repeated the promise. Lyra nodded. Hope and joy filled her. 2,000 years of waiting were not wasted. Humans had come and they were worthy. As they accessed the archives, Lyra guided them through the knowledge. Some of it contained the history of her people, some the technology, some the wisdom of the stars. The humans absorbed it carefully. Lyra watched them, feeling a sense of relief she had never known. The silence of 2,000 years was finally ending. Humans were here and they carried the hope of the future. When the work in the chamber was done, Lyra led the humans back to the surface. The sun was setting, painting the ruins in golden light. The humans were tired but triumphant. Lyra smiled softly. She had waited 2,000 years to see humans like this, to see courage, wisdom, and unity. She had finally found beings who could understand her people, protect their knowledge, and carry hope forward. That night, Lyra watched the humans sit by the fire. Their voices were calm, full of curiosity and wonder. They spoke of what they had seen, what they had learned, and what they hoped to discover next. Lyra listened quietly, her heart full. She had waited so long, and now she had found companions who could share her burden and her hope. She looked at the stars above, bright and infinite. For the first time in 2,000 years, she felt that the universe was not empty. Humans had come and they had proven themselves worthy. The gateway was safe, knowledge was preserved, and hope had returned to her heart. She knew that the journey was only beginning, but she also knew that with these humans, her people's legacy had a chance to survive. And for the first time in centuries, Lyra smiled freely, feeling that the universe had answered her wait. The right voices had come at last. The future was no longer silent the next morning. The ruins were quiet under the pale light of dawn. Lyra stood near the gateway, watching Alex, Emma, and Claire prepare for the day. She felt a mixture of pride and hope. The humans had passed every test, faced the defenses, and proven themselves worthy. For the first time in 2,000 years, she felt that her people's knowledge and legacy could survive. Alex approached her carefully. "What happens now?" he asked. His voice was calm but full of curiosity. Lyra smiled softly. "Now," she said, "you can access the gateway fully. It will reveal everything my people left behind, knowledge, technology, and wisdom. But you must promise to use it wisely, with respect and care." Alex nodded. "We promise," he said firmly. Emma and Claire repeated the promise. Lyra felt relief and joy fill her heart. She had waited centuries for this moment. She led them to the main control panel of the gateway. Her hands hovered above the glowing symbols. Slowly, she touched the first glyph, and a soft hum filled the chamber. Lights glowed brighter, illuminating the walls. Panels slid open, revealing archives filled with knowledge. The humans gasped softly. Ancient devices, records, and glowing data streams lay before them. It was more than they could have imagined. Emma stepped forward first, her eyes wide. This is incredible," she whispered. She touched a glowing panel gently. Information flowed through her mind, translated by the device they had brought. Alex observed carefully. He understood the significance of every symbol, every device. Claire moved next, her hands trembling slightly with awe. She studied the glowing records, feeling the wisdom of a long-lost civilization. Lyra watched them closely. She felt pride swell in her chest. These humans were not here to destroy, not here to steal. They were here to learn, to understand, to protect. She had waited 2,000 years for this. She had dreamed of this moment, and now it had arrived. She felt joy, something she had not known in centuries. "This knowledge," Lyra said softly, "can help many worlds. My people left it as a gift for those who understand courage, unity, and respect. It is powerful but dangerous if misused. Remember, the gateway tests not only skill but also heart. You must always act with wisdom." Alex nodded. "We understand," he said. "We will honor your people and their knowledge. We will protect it." Lyra's eyes shone. She had waited so long, and now she could trust these humans. The humans began exploring the gateway fully. Emma moved from panel to panel, reading the archives, taking careful notes. Claire touched the devices, marveling at the engineering. Alex studied the controls, learning how the gateway could connect worlds safely. Lyra guided them, explaining the systems, the symbols, and the stories of her people. Every word she spoke carried centuries of memory and hope. Hours passed. Lyra realized something she had not felt in centuries: peace. For 2,000 years she had guarded this place alone. Now she was no longer alone. The humans listened, learned, and acted with care. Their voices filled the chamber, soft and full of life. Lyra smiled quietly. For the first time in centuries, she felt that hope could survive. As they explored, Lyra told them stories of her people. She spoke of their victories, their mistakes, their dreams, and their love for the stars. The humans listened, asking questions and learning eagerly. Alex understood the importance of patience. Emma marveled at the wisdom preserved in the symbols. Claire felt the legacy of Lyra's people deeply, almost as if the walls themselves were alive. Suddenly, a soft vibration ran through the chamber. Lyra froze, her eyes narrowing. "Something is coming," she whispered. Alex and the others looked at her. "What is it?" Alex asked. Lyra stepped forward. "The gateway senses change. It has been waiting for this moment. It may test you one final time before granting full access." The humans nodded. They trusted her completely. Courage and unity would guide them. The vibration grew stronger. Panels shifted and symbols glowed brighter. Light beams crossed the chamber, forming a complex pattern. The humans looked at each other, ready. Alex moved first, stepping carefully between the beams. Emma followed, moving slowly but steadily. Claire went last, her movements precise. Lyra guided them with soft words, giving instructions and encouragement. The final test was not easy. The gateway tested not only their skill but their understanding and patience. They moved in perfect coordination, helping each other through the beams and panels. One wrong step could trigger defenses, but they did not fail. Lyra watched them with awe. She had waited 2,000 years for someone to pass this test. Now they were proving themselves worthy in every way. Finally, they reached the heart of the chamber. The gateway pulsed with energy, soft and welcoming. Lyra stepped forward, touching the final symbol. A warm glow spread throughout the chamber. The knowledge of her people flowed freely, accessible to the humans. Alex, Emma, and Claire gasped softly, their faces full of wonder. The centuries of waiting, the loneliness, and the silence were ending. Lyra felt tears in her eyes. She had waited 2,000 years to see this moment. She had waited to hear human voices again, to see courage, wisdom, and respect in action. Now she had found it. The humans were worthy. They had passed every test. They had faced danger, learned, and acted with care. Her people's legacy was safe. Hope had returned. Alex stepped forward. "Lyra," he said, his voice calm but full of awe, "we will honor your people. We will protect this knowledge and use it wisely." Lyra nodded, her heart full. "Thank you," she whispered. "You have given me hope again. For centuries I have waited for this. Now I know my people's legacy will survive." Emma smiled. "We are honored to be here," she said. "We will learn and share only what is right. Your people's knowledge will help many worlds." Claire nodded, her eyes shining. "We will remember this forever," she said. "Thank you for trusting us." Lyra felt warmth spread through her chest. She had not been alone for long, but these voices, these humans, had filled the silence that had lasted millennia. As the day passed, they explored the gateway fully. Lyra guided them through every device, every archive, every symbol. She told them the stories of her people, of their dreams, their mistakes, their wisdom. The humans listened, learned, and acted carefully. Lyra felt joy she had not known in centuries. Hope, courage, and life had returned to her world. When the exploration ended, the humans prepared to leave. They had learned enough to carry the knowledge safely to other worlds. Lyra stood near the gateway, her eyes bright. "You are ready," she said. "The universe is waiting for you. Use what you have learned with care and wisdom." Alex stepped forward. "We will honor your trust," he said. Emma and Claire nodded. Lyra felt a deep relief. 2,000 years of waiting had led to this moment. Before they left, Lyra spoke softly. I have waited for 2,000 years to hear human voices again. Now I have. You have shown courage, respect, and unity. You have given me hope. The universe is not empty, and my people's legacy will live on. The humans listened quietly, touched by her words. They understood the weight of her centuries of waiting and the gift she had given them. As the humans boarded their ship, Lyra watched the sky. The stars seemed brighter, full of possibilities. For the first time in 2,000 years, she felt that the future was alive. The humans waved to her. She waved back. Their voices carried across the ruins, full of life, full of hope. She smiled, her heart light. The gateway stood quietly behind her, safe and preserved. Lyra knew that her people's legacy was secure, and that humans, with their courage and wisdom, would carry it forward. She felt a sense of peace she had not known for centuries. The loneliness of 2,000 years was ending. Hope had returned. Lyra took a deep breath. For the first time, she felt that the universe was full of life, full of possibilities. Humans had come, passed every test, and shown the qualities her people had valued most. She had waited 2,000 years for this moment, and now it had finally come. The stars above seemed to shine just for her, and for the humans who had restored hope to her long and silent world. She smiled, listening to their voices echoing in the ruins. She had waited 2,000 years to hear a human voice again, and now she had heard not one but many. The universe was alive again, and for the first time in centuries, Lyra felt joy, hope, and the promise of a future filled with life and light.